Israeli government has approved $730 million for the 2026 fiscal year for public diplomacy, often referred in Hebrew as hasbara, meaning propaganda, a sharp increase from the $150 million allocated the previous year, which was roughly 20 times pre-2023 levels. New spending seeks to counter a worsening negative global image shaped by the genocide in Gaza and illegitimate regional wars. Israel also faced intensifying scrutiny over links to convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, suspected of being a Mossad operative. Israel has been accused of drawing America into its illegal war with Iran, which triggered global economic disruption. A Pew Research Center poll published in April found that 60% of Americans now view Israel unfavorably. A recent paper at the Institute for National Security Studies in Tel Aviv warned that Israel faces isolation at levels not seen since its establishment, resulting a creeping economic boycott, with businesses and academic institutions increasingly avoiding ties with Israel. Allocated amount will be spent on digital campaigns, social media advertising pushed across major platforms such as Google, YouTube, X and Outbrain, hosting hundreds of foreign delegations, ranging from politicians, lawmakers, pastors and clergy, influencers and university leaders. Additional funds have been directed towards evangelical church networks and influencer campaigns. Approved budget includes expanding youth travel programs to bring tens of thousands of young Jews and Christians to Israel each year for brainwashing. It's not clear if part of this exploded budget will also be spent on false flag-type operations that Israel has been accused of in past. A centralized media war room will track coverage across hundreds of mainstream media outlets and will monitor thousands of daily references to Israel, and will deploy artificial intelligence tools online. Israel is spending this huge amount to talk its way out of a reputation crisis. But will it work? Consul General Israel Batcher, Jerusalem's top diplomat in Los Angeles since 2023, said in an interview that spending may help, but you have to fly out a lot of people. Batcher sees it as a complex problem with no silver bullet, and suggests additional spending on what he called productions in the United States like situation comedy, documentaries, and feature films that touch on Israeli themes alongside the ad buys and influencer work. But critics of this huge budget for a small country like Israel are overwhelmingly skeptical if any of this will work. According to a report in the Jerusalem Post, no amount of messaging can outrun entrenched rejection by its target audiences of Israel's extreme violent response to conflicts with its neighbors without any accountability. All the money in the world won't help if the policy is wrong, said Nicholas Cull, a professor of communication at the University of Southern California. I suspect that the government of Israel will be unable to sell its solutions to the world when so many of its own people dispute the validity of those solutions, said Cull. Shiabali Telhami, a political scientist at the University of Maryland, described a new Gaza generation, a majority of young Americans who, his polling shows, now see Israel as committing genocide and who see the United States as implicated in it. He said that the spending could help on the margins. But they're only going to affect a small percentage. What people care about are the actual policies, not how well you sell those policies, he added. According to Elon Manna, a senior lecturer at Ben Gurion, Israel was one of the first countries in the world to build a global digital diplomacy operation, and its accounts reached roughly 1 billion people. The problem is not that we lack infrastructure. The problem is that people don't believe the state anymore. And that's a much, much deeper problem that no amount of money is going to repair, said Manna. He calls it a credibility gap. If you're not a credible spokesperson, if you're not a credible state, it doesn't matter how good your message is. It doesn't matter how viral it might get. It doesn't matter how many likes you get, said Manna. The credibility problem is now compounding itself. As disclosures have revealed, Israeli contracts with influencers, shell websites, and AI-driven campaigns, pro-Israel posts on American social media routinely draw comments accusing the poster of being a paid foreign agent. Eitan Gilboa, a professor of international communication at Bar-Ilan University, though welcomed the spending, thinks that the current moment may be beyond repair. This is the worst crisis in Israel's image abroad, he said. In the past, we have seen criticism of Israeli policy. Since October 7, we have seen a rejection of Israel's right to exist. He argued that Israel has lost a generation of Americans, calling it highly dangerous, Because these people are going to be the next politicians, elites, journalists. You have to establish a mechanism, a system that would systematically address all the challenges. I am quite pessimistic.